Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with a lady with a lab, and we're going out for a walk. Got to get started working on practicing for next year's Mud Girl, so we're gonna have to start practicing doing 3 miles a day again, or 3 miles every couple of days. And in addition to that, since I've already done one Mud Girl, I know how to better prepare for the next one. And so I know that there are some things that I need to do in order to be better prepared. And that is, I need to strengthen my arms so that I will have better ability to pull and lift and carry, as those are all a part of the event. And I need to work on a little bit of jumping, because it would help with getting out of the mud mountains, or getting up over the mud mountains. And then also, I'll pick that up in a second, don't worry about it. Sarah, your brother is busy trying to lay a... Sarah! Anyways, so yeah, Sarah, I don't care what is in there, you're not sniffing it. Jesus. Anyway, she's very stuck on that. Anyway, so Wannabe Trucker did ask us what was the most fun obstacle and what was the hardest obstacle in the event. Leave it, Sarah. Oh my God. So I would say the most fun obstacle, and this might be kind of weird, but was the pink ranas. And so it's a mud water pit, and it's about 2 foot deep, 2 or 3 feet deep. And you basically get on your back, and there's a net over the top of the pit, and you reach forward and you pull yourself to the other side of the net, and then you get up and you get out of that. So that was quite fun. It was like the third to the last one. It was the last water mud obstacle, which was quite nice because, you know, kind of cleaned you up and cooled you off right before you finished. And I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I had a great time with it. I loved it. 10 out of 10 would do again. It was a very long line at it, but doesn't really matter to me. I did sign up for next year's one already, because there was a deal, VIP tickets for next year's event, which is actually in November instead of October this time, and I'll be going in Phoenix again. So that's the plan. But the hardest one, and you might find this a little bit surprising, was actually the second to the last obstacle and the last obstacle. So it was the climbing the steps to the top of the slide, because I was exhausted at that point, and also the net that we walked under to go enter the race. So it was the net that went up and then over and then back down. Both of those were definitely the hardest, and it's definitely part of my reasoning for wanting to strengthen my arm muscles and whatnot. But the slide was partially the weakness of my arms and partially that I was exhausted. And then because I was exhausted, I was having a hard time lifting my leg up to the next ledge. So it was hard to get to the top. And I would say that the mud mountains that they had were very difficult, but not as difficult as the slide, because the mud mountains, you have the other ladies there who can help you. But on the slide, they can encourage you but it's only one person at a time in each lane. So, you know, that was all me on that one. And like I said, I was exhausted. So I'm going to say that one was the hardest one for me. So that's part of the reason that I've decided to start including some other exercises in to my routine. So on days that I don't walk, because I don't want to do too much in one day. So I think I'm going to alternate between one day walking, the next day doing like jumping jacks, just jumping straight up and down, seeing how high I can jump, and then the next day like doing like deadlifts with Spud, and some crunches, because your core was definitely a big part of this. Core strength really helps out a lot. So I don't think I really struggled with my core, but I don't see why strengthening it would be a bad idea either. So I'm going to continue to strengthen my core and use Spud as a deadlift. So basically just lift him up, lay on my back and lift him up, you know, and then I want to get to the point where I can do the same thing with Sarah, you know, because she's 60 pounds, so to be able to lift her as well would be quite nice. So those are the goals I have currently, and that's the answer to your question, wannabe trucker. Thank you for asking the question. I really appreciate it. And so we're back on the road again. My cooler, the plug for it I had left in the truck, and the shop had pulled the truck in to fix the APU, which they did fix, because it wasn't turning on, and it does now, thankfully. But they pulled it in to do that, and they moved some of my stuff out of the way to access the APU. And when they did that, they broke the cord for my cooler, and I didn't realize that I left the other cord, because it came with two cords, one for the auxiliary plug-in and one for plugging into like my inverter or whatever, or to a standard outlet. And so I left the one that plugs into the inverter at home, and so I can't use that right now to keep my cooler frozen. So everything I have is in the fridge, which means I'm going to be buying food more often and or eating truck stop food until I get back home for just long enough to go pick up the cord. Also, I was driving down to work last night, and my hood on my Chevy popped open twice. The second time it ended up bending, and now it's shut so sufficiently well that it is definitely not going to open back up without assistance. So, number one, gonna have to change the hood latch on it, and Dad's gonna see if he can straighten out the hood so that I don't have to buy a new one. It's not too badly bent. It's just noticeably bent. So we'll see how that goes. My solar setup, I'm planning to buy about 6 20-foot steel poles so that we can mount the solar panels on top of the storage container. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I got to buy the MPPT controller, which is going to, I believe what it does is control how much energy goes to the batteries so that it doesn't overcharge the batteries. I believe that's the function. And it also stops it from overcharging the inverter so that it doesn't blow the fuse or ruin the inverter. So I need to buy that, and then I'm planning to build a insulated wall around the entirety of the 20-foot container so that it's easier to maintain the temperature in there so that the batteries don't get overheated or cold. And also that will also allow me to build some built-in storage for all of the stuff that I have in that container, because it's acting as my storage right now. I did go in there into the storage container and organize it, and it looks a lot better. So that's about how things are going. Anyways, I think I've kind of rambled for a little long today. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's the updates. The doggos are enjoying their walk. Thank you for joining, and let me know your thoughts, opinions, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll see y'all later.